Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. I'm excited today because my friend Hulaine has given me another recipe, and you know she has the best, and you know it has pecans in it if Hulaine has a recipe that she's going to share, and I just thank her so much. I invited her to come and make it, but she was tied up today, so I'm going to make it with you. And it's called Nut Loaf, and it is full of nuts. So let's get started. The original recipe makes a large amount. In fact, it makes 10 of these little mini disposable loaf pans, or it makes 3 of the regular size loaf pans. So today I'm just making half of the recipe. So you can double it if you want to make more and give us gifts. So we're going to make 5 little mini loaves, and we're going to be using these little disposable loaf pans. So I'm starting out with 3/4 of a cup of sifted flour. Now I like to use the Swansdown cake flour, and that's what Hulaine uses. So this is half the recipe, so I'm using 3/4 of a cup of sifted flour, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm using 16 ounces, which is 1 pound of chopped dates. Now these dates just come in a little package like this, and they're hard to find, but I searched until I found some. So this is an 8-ounce package, and I'm not advertising for Sunsweet, but that's what I found, so that's what I'm using. So I'm using 2 of these 8-ounce packages of dates. If you were making the full recipe, you would use 2 pounds of chopped dates, but I'm just using 1 pound. And then I'm using 5 cups of whole pecans. Can you believe that? This is going to be so good. 5 cups of whole pecans, and I'm using the little small ones. They're Elliott, that's the name of them, or the variety. I think that's the word. They're Elliott's. That's the variety. So I'm using 5 cups. If you were making the whole recipe, you'd use 10 cups of pecans. I'm using maraschino cherries, and this is a 10-ounce bottle. I'm going to drain it, cut the cherries into fourths, and I'll use about half of this. If you want more cherries, just add more cherries. I'll use 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and the original recipe calls for 5 eggs, but I'm making half the recipe, so I'm using 3 eggs, and I may take out just a little bit of that so that it'll be 2.5. But you know, eggs aren't as large as they used to be. When the recipe would call for 3 large eggs, well, used to you had large eggs, but the large eggs I get now aren't as large, so I may just use all 3 in this half recipe. So let's get started and make this nut loaf, and I'm preheating our oven to 325 degrees, and we're going to cook it slow, and we'll get started, and I'll see you in a minute. I'm using a large pan today to mix our nut loaf, and I have my sifter here. I've already sifted and measured my flour, but now I want to sift together all of my dry ingredients. So I'm adding together the flour, the sugar, the baking powder, and the salt. And I'm just going to sift that together. Just like that. So simple. Now we're going to add our dates. Now I'm using gloves because Hulaine told me that I'll need to use my hands to mix this because we don't have a lot of wet ingredients, just the eggs and the vanilla. So I'm just kind of mixing this around to coat the fruit and the dates and the cherries Just gonna stir that around. And I decided to use that 10-ounce bottle, all of the cherries, because I love cherries, and so I just used all of it. But like I said, you can use as many or as few as you want to. So just coating the ingredients together, and now I'm adding our pecans. I'm just going to mix this together. You just want to coat that fruit, and the coating it and the nuts, the coating it keeps it from all falling to the bottom or settling in the bottom. You can see this makes a large amount. That looks so good. Now I'm just going to set this aside for just a minute, and I'm going to beat our 3 eggs using my electric hand mixer. To that, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. That was a heaping teaspoon, half teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm just going to stir that around. Now, before I get my hands all in this, I'm going to go ahead and spray, or show you how I'm going to spray my little muffin tins that I have here. Or muffin, listen to me, I got muffin on the brain, don't I? These are loaf pans, so I just kind of overspray using Baker's Joy. So I'm going to spray, and then I will fill them, place them on a flat cookie sheet, and put them in the oven. So now I'm just going to add our liquid ingredients, and I just won't scrape the bowl today. How about that? Usually I scrape the bowl, but since it calls for about 2.5 eggs instead of 3, I just won't scrape it. Now just stirring this around. I may not have to put my hands in there. Elaine said just put your hands down in there and mix it up. But I have this beloved spoon. I'll do what she told me to do. It might not turn out. If I don't put my hands in there, it literally might not turn out, because she said to do it. So that's what I'm doing. This looks so good. Just gonna rub it together. Just make sure that all that liquid gets on there. There's a bad pecan. Thankful I found that. Just take that out. Okay. Y'all, this is too simple. I'm just going to tell you. You know, my middle name is Simple. I love it if it's simple. But this is really, really simple. Now, I'm going to take the little loaf pan, and she said to just fill it. So I'm going to kind of evenly divide this into 5 loaf pans like that. And I don't know how much to put, because this is the first time I've made this. So I'm just going to fill it about 3/4 full, and then I'll fill the others. And if I need to go back and take some out of each one, I will. I want it to be evenly divided among the 5. So I'll do that. I'll put it in the oven on 325 degrees. We want to bake it slowly, and when it gets done, I'll come back and I'll show it to you. And I'm not sure how long to bake it, so I'll be checking it frequently. If you were making the large loaves, then you would bake it for about an hour, but these are smaller, so I'll check it at 20 minutes, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, our nut loaves are done. Don't those look delicious? I can't wait. I'm going to take them out of the oven, and let them cool, and I will turn them out on a cooling rack. And Hulaine told me that I can wrap them in aluminum foil, put them in a Ziploc bag, freezer bag, and put them in the freezer. So I'm just real anxious to get into these and try these. Okay, our nut loaves are done. They're out of the oven. They popped right out of those little aluminum loaf pans too. That Baker's Joy, it really helps. And so I'm going to cut a piece. Hulaine said it's better a couple of days after it's after you've cooked it, and it kind of, and she said that you kind of have to press it together because of all the nuts in it. But y'all, this looks so yummy. I know it's good. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Thank you for helping me to make Hulaine's nut loaf. And we're going to try it. And I'm going to come over and show you how it looks. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I can't wait. I know it's going to be so good. What do I want to bite? I probably have it all over my teeth, but that is so, so good. I'm dropping a pecan. I hope you'll try it. I know you're going to love it. And I hope you have a blessed day. And I'll see you again really, really good soon. Don't forget to share our recipe. Have a blessed day.